Amara Grant was the kind of teacher who effortlessly captured the attention of her students. A young African-American woman in her early 30s, she possessed a blend of beauty, intelligence, and charisma that made her a favorite at Oak Ridge High School. Her students admired her not only for her academic prowess, but also for her approachable, warm nature. She was more than just a teacher to many. As time went on, Amara Grant's relationships with Jamal, Marcus, and Deshaun grew more intense. What had begun as innocent flirtation and lighthearted conversation quickly escalated into something far more complicated. Each of the three boys believed they had a unique connection with her, something special that set them apart from the others. Amara, skilled at navigating her emotions and maintaining control, expertly fed into their desires, all while keeping them unaware of one another. Her affection became a carefully crafted performance where she played the role of the perfect teacher and confidant during the day, while privately indulging in a forbidden and dangerous emotional affair with each of the boys. Jamal, the confident and outgoing one, was the first to fall for her. He was drawn to her strength and beauty and the way she made him feel understood in ways others couldn't. Amara played into this, offering him the attention he craved, and their bond grew stronger. Marcus, who had always been more reserved, found solace in Amara's ability to listen without judgment. He would often stay after class, talking to her about his future, his dreams, and his struggles. The connection felt real to him, something worth protecting. Deshaun, the quiet and introspective student, was perhaps the most vulnerable. He admired Amara for her intellect, but it was her kindness that won him over. Slowly, he began to believe she might actually care for him in a way no one else did. The boys, wrapped up in their individual fantasies, had no idea they were part of a twisted triangle. Amara's manipulation kept them all in the dark, each convinced that he was her one true confidant. As the lines between affection and obsession blurred, the tension among them began to rise. The tension between Jamal, Marcus, and Deshaun reached a breaking point when they all ended up in the same room after school one fateful afternoon. The air was thick with jealousy, confusion, and betrayal. Each of the boys had grown increasingly suspicious of the others, their feelings for Amara now clouded by doubt. What had once felt like individual, secret connections to her now seemed like part of a much bigger, more dangerous puzzle. The boys had begun comparing notes, talking about the things Amara had said to them, the way she had made them feel, and it didn't take long before they realized the truth. She wasn't exclusive to any one of them. She had been playing them all. Jamal, always the most outwardly confident, was the first to confront the others. His voice trembled with both anger and hurt as he accused the others of being involved with Amara. Marcus, shocked by the confrontation, tried to deny it, but the evidence was undeniable. Deshaun, usually quiet and reserved, was caught off guard by the intensity of the moment. He had never imagined his feelings for Amara could be shared by the others, and now that the truth had come to light, he felt betrayed and humiliated. The confrontation quickly spiraled out of control. As the argument escalated, emotions flared, and words turned into threats. The once innocent affection they had felt toward Amara transformed into raw, unchecked rage. The jealousy of one student clashed violently with the hurt of another, creating an explosive combination. In the midst of the chaos, Jamal, whose emotions were boiling over, lashed out. A desperate, impulsive move led him to grab a metal rod from a nearby desk, and before anyone could react, he struck Deshaun across the head. The room fell silent in an instant as Deshaun collapsed to the floor, blood quickly pooling beneath him. Jamal stood frozen, his heart pounding in his chest, realizing the gravity of what he had just done. Panic overtook him. The discovery of Deshaun's body sent shockwaves through Oak Ridge High School, and the investigation into his death began almost immediately. Teachers and students alike were horrified by the violent crime that had unfolded within the school walls. Initially, the police focused on Jamal, who had been seen leaving the building shortly after the incident, looking disheveled and visibly agitated. His erratic behavior and the fact that he had been in the same room as Deshaun made him the prime suspect in the case. But as investigators dug deeper, they began to uncover the complex web of emotions and deceit surrounding the boys and their relationship with Amara Grant. At first, Jamal denied any involvement in the murder, claiming that it had been an accident, a heated argument that got out of control. But as the detectives pressed him, his story began to unravel. The emotional state he was in when he fled the scene was too intense to be explained away by a simple argument. The officers soon learned that Jamal's relationship with Amara had been the catalyst for the conflict. He admitted to being one of her secret lovers, revealing the intensity of his feelings for her and how he had been consumed with jealousy when he discovered that Marcus and Deshawn had also been involved with her. Meanwhile, the police began interviewing Marcus and Deshawn's friends, slowly piecing together the truth. They learned about the secret affairs, the manipulation, and the growing tension between the three boys. The investigators even spoke with Amara, who initially denied any wrongdoing, insisting that she had only been a teacher to her students. However, the mounting evidence painted a different picture. Messages, phone records, and testimonies from the boys revealed the extent of her involvement in their lives, feeding their obsessions and, ultimately, encouraging the rivalry that led to Deshawn's death. As Jamal's confession came to light, the full scope of the tragedy became apparent. The murder was no longer just about a jealous outburst. It was the result of a toxic love triangle fueled by manipulation, obsession, and betrayal. The case was no longer just about the violent act. It was about the psychological hold Amara had over her students and how it had led them all down a destructive path. The trial of Jamal would be a pivotal moment in the unraveling of the entire tragedy. As the details of Deshawn's murder emerged, the town of Oak Ridge was left reeling. The courtroom became a battleground, with everyone involved in the case forced to face the consequences of their actions. Jamal's defense team tried to argue that his actions had been a result of temporary insanity, driven by overwhelming jealousy and emotional manipulation. They painted a picture of a young man pushed to the edge by his feelings for Amara Grant, a teacher who had turned their lives upside down. But the prosecution was relentless, detailing the complex and toxic nature of the relationships between Jamal, Marcus, Deshawn, and Amara. As the trial progressed, the true scope of Amara's manipulation came to light. Testimonies from other students revealed the teacher's tendency to blur the lines between professional and personal relationships, often making students feel as if they were more than just her pupils. Some described her as a mentor who gave them special attention, while others spoke of how her actions made them feel seen and important, though not in the way a teacher should. The prosecution argued that Amara had knowingly encouraged the rivalry among the boys, feeding their growing obsessions with her. Amara, who had been fired from her teaching position shortly after the murder, sat quietly in the back of the courtroom as the evidence piled up. She was never charged with anything directly related to Deshawn's death, but her role in creating the conditions that led to the tragedy was undeniable. Jamal, deeply remorseful, expressed his regret for taking Deshawn's life, but the damage had been done. The community was left grappling with the aftermath, questioning how a trusted teacher could have caused such devastation in the lives of her students. As Jamal was sentenced to a lengthy prison term, the school district initiated reforms to ensure that such a betrayal of trust could never happen again. But for the families of the victims and the town of Oak Ridge, the scars of the affair, the jealousy, and the murder would linger long after the trial ended. The tragic tale of Amara Grant and her 3 students would forever serve as a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk beneath seemingly innocent connections.